खिलाफत के अमी हम हैं, अमानत हम संभालेंगे। जो नेमत छिन चुकी पहले, वो नेमत हम संभालेंगे।
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Welcome back to another episode of Khilafat, the Rope of Allah, from the studios of MTA International Gambia. In our previous episode, we started to discuss about the Caliphate of the third Khalifa of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Rahimahullah. So in this program again, we will continue discussion related to the era of his Khilafat. And helping me with the discussion today, I am joined by two wonderful guests in the studio. On my immediate right, I have Ustad Masood Ahmad Tahir Sahib, who is serving as a missionary, area missionary of Lower River region of the Gambia. Thank you very much for joining us today. And next to him we have Ustad Baba Tanja Sahib, who is also a familiar face for this program. He is serving as a missionary in Banjul Kombo region. Thank you very much for joining us. So we will continue our discussion concerning the era of the Khilafat of the third Khalifa, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Sahib. You know, in 1974, there was so much of hatred and jealousy spreading all over in Pakistan, and it went up to the state level. So, you know, in 1974, Ahmadi Muslims also were declared by the state as non-Muslims. So can you tell us what was the situation, what resulted to that chaos and the turmoil of 1974?
Thank you very much. You see, Allah Almighty has stated in Surah Al-Fatha, in the last verse, ذَلِكَ مَثَلُهُمْ فِي التَّوْرَاةِ وَمَثَلُهُمْ فِي الْإِنْجِيلِ كَزَرْعٍ أَخْرَجَ شَطْأَهُ فَآزَرَهُ فَاسْتَوَىٰ عَلَىٰ سُوقِهِ يُعْجِبُ الزُّرَّاعَ لِيَغِيظَ بِهِمُ الْكُفَّارِ. When the crop of the believers is ripe, is ready to be cultivated, and when you look at it, you become happy. But for the disbelievers, يُعْجِبُ الزُّرَّاعَ لِيَغِيظَ بِهِمُ الْكُفَّارِ. These crops may cause the disbelievers to burn in the rage because they hate us. So the same thing was going on in Pakistan. Alhamdulillah, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat was progressing rapidly day and night. This resulted in jealousy. So hatred was all around. So then what happened? Prime Minister of the Pakistan by then, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he was very intelligent and very sharp person. He wanted to be the leader of the third world countries. And he also realized, because he was very intelligent, he realized that as far as the Khilafat of Ahmadiyyat is there, I cannot be the Khalifa of third world. People will not accept me. So this was in his mind, actually, just to bring down the Khilafat of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, so I can become the leader. So they organized this OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, in Pakistan in 1974. It was held in February 1974. The Muslim leaders across the world, they gathered there. And there, the King Faisal, the king of Saudi Arabia, he was also interested in the leadership of Muslim Ummah. So when Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto realized this thing, so of course he did not take it as something unserious. So then he announced that as far as we are busy in some of other activities, so when we are ready, we will talk about the issue of Qadianiyat, means Ahmadiyyat. So when King Faisal went back to Saudi Arabia, after 1.5 months of that conference, he organized another OIC in Saudi Arabia, in which he decided that we are going to boycott Ahmadis, we will not allow them to enter Saudi Arabia, we will not permit them to perform Hajj, we will not marry with them, all social boycotts will be done with them. And there Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was also in the race of leadership of Muslim Ummah. So he brought this issue in the National Assembly of Pakistan in 1974. And he also wrote to Ahmadiyyat to Jamaat offices, that we want you also to be part of that discussion. We want to discuss about your faith. So there Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Salis Rahimahullah presided the delegation, which included in total 5 members. So when Huzur went there, on the first day of proceedings of that assembly discussion, Huzur read out the Mahzarnama, the affidavit which he wrote. So the main purpose or the main theme of that affidavit or Mahzarnama was that there is not a single person or government who has the right to decide the faith about a person or about a community. How can somebody decide that your faith is this, your faith is that? So there is no right anybody or any government is possessing about that. Secondly, Huzur read in that Mahzarnama that we believe in Khatm Nubuwwat, which was the hot issue in that discussion. But later on, they cancelled the proceedings because when they heard the Mahzarnama, and it was full of references, and it was wonderful piece of knowledge prepared by Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat in the leadership of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Salis Rahimahullah. So they postponed the proceedings of assembly for some days. Then again, they called Huzur with the delegation. So the main topic which was to be discussed was Khatm Nubuwwat, whether Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat believes in Khatm Nubuwwat, finality of prophet of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or they do not believe, they have their own new prophet. This was the main topic to be discussed. But to your utter surprise, throughout the discussion of so many days there, they did not ask a single question on Khatm Nubuwwat. What they started from was, what was the name of the founder of Ahmadiyyat? Where was he born? They asked about his biography. Where did his ancestors come from? Then they started asking about the biography of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Salis Rahimahullah. When was you born? Where did you graduate from? When did you become Khalifa? What authority do you have in Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat? Then they started asking about somebody who is not Ahmadi. How do you take them? Whether they are kafir, they are non-Muslims, they are believers, how do you take them? So Huzur said, the discussion you have called us for is Khatm Nubuwwat. Let's talk about Khatm Nubuwwat. Why are you diverting the topic? But they said, no, we will come on that also, but let us get the answers for these questions. So Huzur continuously answered to their questions. But there was not a single question asked about the topic of Khatm Nubuwwat. So the proceedings went on until it concluded in September. So then they announced in the newspapers that we are going to decide based on the discussion done in Parliament on 7th September 1974, our decision. So before that decision, the clerics or so-called mullahs, Maulvis in Pakistan, they started narrating, in fact they started warning the Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the Prime Minister, and they threatened him in their speeches in their meeting that if he showed any sympathy for Qadianis in his decision, we are going to take over the government. We will knock him down. He doesn't know our power. So based on those threats, warnings, and the wish to become the leader of Muslim Ummah and to bring down the Khilafat of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, on 7th September 1974, the National Assembly of Pakistan, they declared that 72 sects have decided, have agreed that Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is outside the pale of Islam because they do not believe in Khatm Nubuwwat. And as I told you, there was not a single question asked about Khatm Nubuwwat in the proceedings of so many days. But they decided because Ahmadis do not believe in Khatm Nubuwwat, that's why they are out of the pale of Islam. And the 72 sects of Muslim world have agreed on that. So that takes us back to the history, the hadith of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, a time will come that my ummah will be divided into 73 sects, and 72 kulluhum finnar, they will be in hell, in the fire, except the one, he will be on right path. And here they decided, they announced, no, we 72 are right, and one Ahmadiyya, they are wrong. But the verdict of Holy Prophet ﷺ will prevail, that one will be on right path and 72 will be on right path.
For this explanation, we will come back to you, but then coming to you, Ustaz Baba Tanja Sahib, you know, at one side we could see this hatred and hostility against the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, but on the other hand, you know, Jamaat continued to spread the message of love and peace throughout the world. And in connection to that, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Sahib, he also formed a slogan, love for all, hatred for none, which is also in connection, you know, with another very interesting and important event. So can you highlight this point?
Thank you very much, Burhan Sahab. And this was with regards to the 1980 tour to Europe by the third Khalifa, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad, rahimahullah. You know, as he embarked on this tour to Europe, and he happened to also visit Spain. You know, briefly, I just want to cite some, you know, happenings in Spain prior to this, this happening, this very juncture that we are about to talk about. Because for 700 years, we have seen Spain had been, you know, occupied by Muslims and Muslim rulers, and it has been proven by history itself. And we have artifacts also that has given, you know, precise explanations to all these incidents or happenings in history. And you know, as a Muslim, the third Khalifa himself has explained that, you know, it was duly because of the incitements from the Christian priest and you know, the Christians, you know, extremists, you know, that you know, they sparked a fire of hatred against the Muslims, and there was a civil war against the Muslims, and that happened to be a racial war. And until the Muslims were gradually evicted from from Spain at the time, they were killed, and their mosques, their houses, their residence, and all other, you know, cultural Islamic cultural places and sites were all demolished and destroyed completely. So as Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad rahimahullah visited this place, I mean, he expressed his agony that he had at the place, and he particularly said, you have no idea of my agony when I went to Granada. This was when he went to Spain, and you know, having seen the situation, the depiction of the place, a place for 700 years ruled by Muslims, and now no Muslims available. There's a minimal number of, you know, the populace of Muslims, as well as there are no, you know, Islamic, you know, buildings those that were erected were all demolished. And seeing this thing, he was very disturbed, and he was, you know, very much in pain, and he expressed his pain, and Allah SWT had his pain, and thereby Allah SWT inspired him. He vouchsafed to him that he should build this mosque we call Masjid Basharat. This Masjid Basharat was built after the inspiration from Allah, gotten from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be built. But now I just want to cite, because, you know, for building a mosque, you know, resources is needed, and you know, some other things are needed, you know, manpower, and those things were not, you know, available. They were in a minimal form. And what happened is, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad was worried to how he's going to, you know, garner all this, you know, achieve this responsibility, especially that looking at the situation of the, you know, the Christians and the, you know, the people in Spain. They are overwhelmingly rich and opulent people. So how can he establish this mission and to see to it that people were converted into Islam, Ahmadiyyat? And this is how it was, until he was so worried that, and he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, inspired him, you know, gradually he instilled this feeling inside him that he should, you know, do zikrillah, and he started doing durud. And as per he was doing durud, then gradually the tongue, you know, shifted from durud, then he started saying la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. And in that instant, it occurred to him that if the oneness is to be to emanate again, and if people are to be attracted to, you know, to the religion of Islam again, they mean the oneness of Allah should be established here. That is why this mosque was established. And and you know, I just want to cite some once Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad rahimahullah, you know, at night he was thinking about how this mosque is going to be built, you know, and he said around some 3 to 3:30 p.m. you know, Allah inspired him, telling him that you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you from abundantly from places where you have not, you know, perceived of. So this was the revelation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted him, and from there on he was very glad, he was very happy and joyful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to grant him like out of his own resources from Allah himself. And then he took to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he was very patient, and thereby praying also overwhelmingly. And secondly also, after having the resources, and now the planning was like when to build this mosque and how to build it. And by the grace of Allah also, through constant prayers and dedication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Bashara mosque was established. Now, coming now to the question that, the love or hatred for none, how has it come to play? It was at the time when after this Bashara mosque was already built. Now Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad rahimahullah was addressing the people, the populace, to the essential essential mandate of this mosque and the incentive that of this mosque is, and explaining that this mosque is to call people into what harmony, and to express this this dedication, love of to empathize, to bring this love amongst ourselves, harmony, and for people to live in a tranquil society, as well as also understanding that there is only one God. And if we understand there is only one God, then we understand we are all from the same source, and we have to be to each other in a harmonious and tranquil society. And this was, just to call upon the attention of the Christians and other people in Spain, and the Muslims also, that to show them that we have to showcase, care and attention for each other in a lovely manner in order to attract the blessing of Allah.
Yes, and this was the first mosque that was built after the Islamic kingdom in Spain by Muslims. So coming back to the events that were happening in Pakistan in 1974, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, wanted to be the champion of Islam. He was at the forefront in declaring Ahmadis as non-Muslims. But he had a very terrible end, and which is also in relation to the revelation to Hazrat Mirza Ahmad alayhi salatu wasalam. And not only him, but all those who joined him had a very painful end. The likes of King Faisal, Idi Amin and others, Gaddafi as well. So can you tell us about that?
Thank you very much. So this incident is very faith inspiring. Hazrat Khalifa Rabbi Rahimullah used to say that to me this is the best evidence of the truthfulness of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. The first one, the prophecy of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa was fulfilled, that 72 will be in hell, in fire, and one will be on right path. Then moving from here to next incident, the end. This was also a prophecy fulfilled. It was actually a revelation of Allah Almighty that Kalbun Yamutu ala Kalbin. So the incident goes on when Zulfikar Ali Bhutto or the National Assembly declared Ahmadis non-Muslims, non-believers on 7th September 1974. So during his meetings, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto started saying that I am the hero of Islam and I have resolved 19 years old issue, the dispute of Ahmadis of 90 years, because Jamaat started in 1889. So in 1970s, Jamaat was about to be 90 years old. So he said, I have resolved the dispute of 90 years old. Then after he declared Ahmadis non-Muslims, 7th September was the date. So the following Friday, 13th September 1974, Yom-e-Dua was celebrated across Pakistan by the National Assemblies and by the Maulvis, the scholars, the clerics. Yom-e-Dua. So during that Friday prayers, all Maulvis, or majority of them, they prayed for the long, healthy, prosperous life of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. They said he has served Islam, that nobody else could do that. So we are praying for his long, healthy life, for his power over Pakistan government also. Even some Maulvis said that what he has done for Islam, we want to polish his boots, his shoes with our beard. What he has done for Islam. So the prayers were done for the long, healthy life of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. But on the other hand, degree of Allah Almighty was also going on. So what happened? Just after 2 months, a person named Nawab Muhammad Ali Khan was killed. and his son filed against FIR against Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and he was arrested. So from here the miserable end of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto starts. Then after a few years, the army chief by then, Mr. Ziaul Haq, he took over the government and he arrested Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So when we go back to the proceedings of National Assembly, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto decided there that the proceedings will be done in camera. Nobody will be allowed to know from outside what is going on. So Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Salis Rahimullah said, if you are doing the recording the proceedings in camera, it means you don't want to do justice. There will be an injustice. So he said, no, it will be in camera. When Huzur read in Mahzarnama, how can you decide our faith? Whether we believe in Allah, we believe in Islam or not? He said, no, Assembly is going to decide that one. So all those decrees of Allah, all those his statements went against him. When he was arrested, let me come back on the date exactly when he was arrested. You see, he was arrested in 1974 in November. His proceedings, case of his FIR, it also went in camera. So he said exactly the same what Hazrat Mirza said. He said, if you want to do the entire proceedings in camera, it means you don't want to do justice with me. This was the decree of Allah Almighty. What he had done with Ahmadis, same thing was going to be done with him by Allah Almighty, not by any person. Then the second thing, the court decided that Zulfikar Ali Bhutto is not a Muslim.
Okay, very interesting.
So Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, when he was told about this decision, he said, I'm very much surprised. How can a court or how can a justice decide somebody's faith? What he had done already with Jamaat,
Exactly.
same thing was being done with him by Allah Almighty. It was the decree of Allah Almighty. What he used to say, I have resolved the dispute of 90 years. He used the figure 90 exactly. So let me come on that 90 figure. He was hanged till death on 4th April 1979. And it becomes same 90 weeks from the day he was arrested. Exact 90 weeks. Then when the new ruler Ziaul Haq took over, so in his very first speech he also used the figure 90. He said, I have come for 90 days. After 90 days I will hand over the government to the next Prime Minister. The 90 figure there came also. Then Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto celebrated his 51st birthday on 5th January 1979, and he was hanged to death on 14th April 1979. So if you count from 5th January to 4th April, they become exactly 90 days.
Yes.
So how the rope of 90
continued rolling. Yes.
continued rolling him.
Yes.
90 days, 90 weeks, 90 days of government and elections. This was the decree of Allah Almighty.
Exactly.
So when he celebrated the 51st birthday, he entered in the year of 52nd. Now we come to that prophecy of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Allah Almighty has told Imam Mahdi alayhi salam around 70-80 years before this incident. Kalbun yamutu ala kalbin. So when we look at the word kalb and we talk about the figures that we have, there is a knowledge. So kalb, when we calculate the word kaf, lam, be, they becomes 52. So it means kalb in Arabic means dog. So kalbun yamutu ala kalbin. When this verse revelation was revealed, somebody came to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam and asked him, I did not understand the meaning. Kalbun yamutu ala kalbin, a dog will die on a dog. What does this mean? He said, no, it does not mean dog will die on dog. Prophet ﷺ has himself interpreted it. He said it means kalbun yamutu ala kalbin, a dog will die on the age of 52. It is written in Tazkira, the revelation book of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. So he said, I don't know who will be that dog, but Allah told me that dog will die on the age of 52. So here comes Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. He celebrated his 51st birthday, entered in the year of 52nd.
Yes.
When he entered this year, and the date was announced that he was going to be hanged on 4th April. So his daughter Benazir Bhutto, along with all other Muslim clerics, Maulvis, Mullahs in Pakistan, they wrote to government of Pakistan. They went to different countries to help us, just convince Ziaul Haq to postpone his death until 1 year. Otherwise, Ahmadis will say this man is the fulfillment of that prophecy. With their all efforts, all their tries, no, they could not convince anybody. And he was hanged on 4th April 1979, exact when he was 52 years old. So, kalbun yamutu ala kalbi. Dog will die at the age of 52. Not only this, when we go on Google, just search, right there 4th April, very interestingly, faith in Allah Almighty. You write 4th April on Google. Google will tell you 4th April is the day of World Stray Dogs.
Okay.
World Stray Dogs, those wild mad dogs, their day is celebrated on 4th April.
4th April. Yeah, right.
So somebody can say out of Jamaat that this is just a coincidence. I don't believe that. That figure of 90 days, 90 weeks, 90 months, and now Kalbu Yamutu ala Kalbin at the age of 52, 4th April,
Yes.
International Day of Wild Stray Dogs. This is not a coincidence. So then we move forward towards other people who were at the forefront.
Yes, we are running out of time, so I just want
Sorry,
you
okay.
to
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sorry for that. So when we move to other people who were at forefront to help him in declaring Ahmadis Kafir, most of them, or I would say none of them, who helped him at the forefront, none of them died a natural death. I will just go through with their names.
Please, yes.
His progeny, the progeny of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Shahnawaz Bhutto, Murtaza Bhutto, Benazir Bhutto, Nusrat Bhutto, they all were murdered. We move forward. Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, he was also killed in 2011. Anwar Sadat, he was assassinated in 1981. King Faisal, who also wanted to be Khalifa, he was also killed in 1975. Yasser Arafat, he was poisoned in 2004. So I would just conclude my answer with the couplets of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam. He wrote, अगर तेरा भी कुछ दी है बदल दे जो मैं कहता हूँ कि इज़्ज़त मुझको तुझको मलामत आने वाली है खुदा रुसवा करेगा तुझको मैं एजाज़ पाऊँगा सुनो ऐ मुनकिरो अब ये करामत आने वाली है. The translation is, if you have faith, he is addressing the opponents, if you have faith, then try and change what I am claiming, and I will be given the high esteem and honor, and you will be ridiculed. God will humiliate you, and I shall be given worth. Listen, O disbelievers, this sign will be shown by Allah Almighty.
Thank you very much, Dama Sosa, for this beautiful explanation. You know, even the president of the Gambia, Sadauda K. Jawara, he was also invited to join this force to declare Ahmadis as non-Muslims, but he refused to join that force. And he lived a very respectful life, and his legacy...
He was the only person
exactly, he was the only, yes, and his legacy continues to live. So coming to you again, Ustaz Baba Sahib, can you tell us about the sad demise of the third Caliph of MTA Muslim Jamaat, please?
Yes, it is very obvious that whosoever comes to this world must one day leave the world. Kullu man alayha fan, as stated in the Holy Quran, that everything on the face of earth is to perish, is to go, is to, it cannot live on or linger on forever. And so, because the blessed, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad, his birth was a blessed sign, because it has been prophesied from books, in fact, prior to that of the Holy Quran, like in the Talmud. Murabi Sahib has just mentioned that already, and it was also revealed to Hazrat Muslim Maud radiyallahu anhu ta'ala. And we see, unfortunately, on 21st May 1982, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad delivered his last sermon, and after having delivered his last sermon in Rabwa, he traveled for the capital city, that Islamabad at the time, and he stayed there after 2 days. Then he fell sick, and it was a tedious situation for him at the time. And we've seen in June 1982 he suffered from a severe heart attack, and gradually he started deteriorating until 9th of June 1882 he passed on. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un at 12:45 p.m. and thereafter the fourth Khalifa was elected into office.
Thank you very much, Sahib. Thank you, gentlemen, for this very informative and instructive discussion. So this brings us to the end of today's episode. Take care till we come your way next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
खिलाफत के अमी हम हैं, अमानत हम संभालेंगे, जो नेमत छिन चुकी पहले वो नेमत हम संभालेंगे। खिलाफत के अमी हम हैं, अमानत हम संभालेंगे, खिलाफत के अमी हम हैं,